Is Rome entering its golden age, or stepping into a new dark era? The stability that began with Vespasian grows under Trajan and Hadrian, but intrigues still continue in the throne and the streets. Armies expand, borders strengthen, yet internal issues and betrayals continue to threaten the empire. In this episode, we will witness Rome's great victories, massive conquests, and the dangers lurking within. Part 5 begins. During the reign of Trajan, in the year 112, the Parthians invaded the kingdom of Armenia, which was dependent on Rome, and established their own rule there. In response, Emperor Trajan set out on a campaign to Armenia, first recaptured Armenia, and then turned his direction directly against the Parthians. In Roman history, no emperor had ever marched against the Parthians with such force at the head of his army. Trajan first captured Babylon, then the capital Ctesiphon, and afterward brought the region extending to the Persian Gulf under Roman control. But he did not stop there. After capturing Susa as well, he overthrew the Parthian king and installed a puppet administration loyal to Rome in his place. The Roman Empire never again expanded its eastern borders to the extent it had reached during Trajan's time for the rest of its existence. Indeed, after Trajan's death, Emperor Hadrian decided that the Mesopotamian region was indefensible and withdrew the troops from the area. During the period of the Five Good Emperors, which lasted until the year 192, Rome experienced its final eras of peace under the reigns of Trajan, Hadrian, Antoninus Pius, Marcus Aurelius, and Commodus. Despite various revolts occurring in the Roman Empire until the year 192, the borders were protected, the justice system was developed, the level of prosperity was increased, and breakthroughs were made in the education system. After this successful century, the assassination of Commodus caused a new civil war to break out in Rome. The side that won this great civil war was Lucius Septimius Severus, who established his own dynasty. The most important event of the dynastic period was the legal reform called Constitutio Antoniniana. With this reform, all free citizens living under Roman rule gained the status of Roman citizenship, while the Severan dynasty managed to protect the imperial borders until the year 235. From this date onward, civil war once again prevailed in the country for a time. Rome's military and political chaos reached its peak in the year 260 when Emperor Valerian was captured by the Sassanids during a war. Valerian's son Gallienus chose to deal with rebellions in various parts of the country instead of avenging his father. During this period, Septimius, who was the governor of Syria, established an empire called Palmyra in Syria and its surroundings and declared himself the ruler of the region. In the west, General Marcus Postumus likewise established the Gallic Empire in the year 260, independently of Rome, encompassing Gaul, Spain, and Britain. Thus, in the year 260, the Roman Empire was divided into three parts. The first goal of Aurelian, who became emperor in the year 270, was to restore the unity of Rome. He first organized a campaign to the east, defeated the army of the Palmyrene Empire, and brought its lands back under Roman rule. Then he turned to the west, defeated the Gallic army at Chalons, and reattached the lands of the Gallic Empire to the central authority. However, with Aurelian's assassination and death in the year 275, a 10-year civil war broke out in the empire. The man who defeated his rivals and wore the imperial crown in the year 284 was Diocletian. During this period, the country was going through very difficult days politically, militarily, and economically, while the lands were constantly exposed to attacks from Iran in the east and Germanic tribes in the west. Subsequently, in the year 285, Diocletian divided the country into two parts. He himself began to rule the eastern part of the country from Nicomedia, while his fellow soldier Maximian ruled the west from Milan. This system of governance was called the Tetrarchy. This tetrarchic system came to an end with the death of Constantius on July 25, 306. And when the Eastern Army, the Western Army, and the Senate each enthroned their own emperor, there were suddenly 5 emperors throughout the country. The survivors of this war were Galerians in the west and Constantine in the east. Because Christians supported both figures in this war, both Galerians and Constantine legalized Christianity within the territories of the Roman Empire in the year 311. After Galerius died in the same year, Licinius succeeded him. and shortly afterward a civil war broke out between Constantine and Licinius. The winner of the civil war, which lasted 13 years until the year 324, was Constantine the Great, and from that date onward Constantine began to rule the country as the sole emperor of both East and West until his death. Believing that Rome could no longer function as the capital as it once had, Constantine declared Constantinople, located at the junction of Asia and Europe, as the new capital of the Roman Empire. Constantine the Great, who ruled the empire from Istanbul until the year 337, died in that same year. During this period, the Roman Empire began to weaken significantly due to the Sassanids in the east, the Goths and Germanic peoples in the west, as well as internal power struggles within the empire. While countless emperors ascended the throne and were killed until the year 379, the last sole emperor of Rome was Theodosius, who ascended the throne in that year. While Theodosius became the emperor of the Eastern Roman Empire in the year 379, with the death of Western Roman Emperor Valentinian II in 392, he reunited the Roman Empire and began to rule it under a single authority. Theodosius went down in history by ending the traditional Roman religion in the year 391 and declaring Christianity as the official religion. Before his death in the year 395, Theodosius the Great divided the empire between his sons Arcadius and Honorius. While Honorius was given the Western Roman Empire, Arcadius took control of the Eastern Roman Empire. Contrary to popular belief, Theodosius' intention was not to divide Rome into two parts. However, during this period, border conflicts and the migration period paved the way for the empire to be divided into eastern and western halves. The Roman Empire, officially divided in the year 395, was never reunited again. This process, which began with the migration period, consisted of two phases, the first being the migration of the Huns from Asia to the west, and the second being the westward migration of Turkic tribes. If we consider the first phase that concerned the Roman Empire, after the collapse of the Great Hun Empire, the Huns fleeing Chinese pressure came to Central Asia and settled in the Kazakh steppes. However, starting from the year 350, due to reasons such as economic difficulties, drought, and population pressure, they began migrating westward in search of new homelands. By the year 370, the nomadic Huns had settled around the Caspian Sea and established the Western Hun Empire, also known as the European Hun Empire. After a while, as the Huns began to expand their sphere of influence westward, the Visigoths, Ostrogoths, and Vandals, who could no longer remain in this region, also began migrating westward. These nomadic tribes, whom the Romans referred to as barbarians, advanced as far as Spain and even North Africa, changing the demographic structure of the entire region. While the migration period deeply affected world history and Turkic history, it became a major factor, especially in the collapse of the Western Roman Empire. The first impact of this migration on the Western Roman Empire began in the year 395, when the Visigoths, who had set out for Illyria, revolted. At that time, since the Western Roman Emperor Honorius was very young, the empire was ruled by the Western Roman commander General Stilicho. When General Stilicho moved to stop the Visigoths from marching on Rome and confronted them with his army, the two sides made peace and reached an agreement. After the threat was eliminated, the Roman general set out with his army toward Gaul to suppress a rebellion by the Germanic tribes. However, before he could get halfway, this time the governor of Africa of the Roman Empire, General Gildo, declared his own kingdom in the year 398 with 70,000 soldiers behind him. Caught between the rebellion in Gaul and the rebellion in Africa, Stilicho sent 5,000 soldiers under the command of Gildo's brother Mascezel, a soldier loyal to Rome, against his brother. At the end of a war that lasted about 2 years, Gildo was defeated and forced to flee North Africa, while his brother Mascezel became the governor of North Africa on behalf of the Western Roman Empire. When the year 400 arrived, although Visigoth King Alaric launched his first campaign into Italy, he once again found Stilicho and his army opposing him. The Roman general emerged victorious from the battle, and Alaric was forced to withdraw with his army back to Illyria. Rome is now divided into two. East and West are drifting toward very different destinies. Migrations, revolts, and endless power struggles are pushing Western Rome closer to collapse. The once invincible empire is now fighting just to survive. The road to Rome's fall has begun, and the real storm is yet to come.